What foods seem completely fine until you realize how it's actually made? Imitation crab. It's fish paste with eggs, a bunch of additives and colorings. Which makes sense. The weird part is watching the two colors of extruded paste get stretched out and wrapped around each other, like fish taffy. Hot dog of the sea. I manage a meat department, and when customers ask me about our imitation crab meat, I always say it's a fish hot dog, and the people who were already going to buy it love the description, and those on the fence usually opt out. I'm realizing I'm a bad businessman. I like imitation crab meat. But I also like hot dogs. I'm a piece of shit. My wife's aunt made a mushroom soup that she had me try, supposed to be super healthy and tasty. I tried it. It was okay, and then she showed me the mushrooms. Fucking caterpillars that had cordyceps. I'll see you all later as patient zero. Edit, here a pic of the little bugbears. Hi, would she do that? I just googled this and I don't understand. For curious folk like me. Click at your own risk. Mild NSFW. When I was growing up, my grandma used to make this amazing apple salad dessert thing. I loved it growing up. One year I wanted to make it for myself as an adult, and I asked her the recipe. Turns out it was just apples, mayo and sugar. Reminds me of my grandpa's sweet and sour meatballs. It's meatballs mixed in a sauce that's made with only ketchup and grape jelly. It's oddly really good. That's a popular crock-pot dish. Our family has something similar, which is cocktail weenies in grape jelly and barbecue sauce. Edit, wow, I had no idea this was such a popular dish. As a baker, puff pastry. Not because it's gross or something, it's just a long, involved process that can break you if you let it. I've made it once. Took hours because if it started to warm up I would refrigerate it again. Now I just buy it. The difference between homemade and raw store-bought is negligible, with everything I tend to add to it / around it. Not worth the 3-ish hours it took. I used to want to make everything from scratch until I came across Make the Bread, Buy the Butter. This book changed my life, lol. The Squirrel Bits and Iguana on a Stick. Man oh man, my hands were shaken. Plus 2 rads. Iguana on a stick is made of people, it's made of people. You're thinking of iguana bits. Iguana on a stick is indeed roasted reptile. Still shady. Foie Gras. My culinary school took me to a foie gras farm. Even though it's tasty, I don't eat it anymore. What is it? It's duck liver. Only the ducks are force-fed / a lot / to make the liver tender. I gather it's very painful for the ducks. Isn't it goose? Ever hear of Kasumarzu cheese? The cheese made creamy by the little maggots eating it and pooping it out again? I'd never heard of this before. I envy past me. What a horrible day to be literate. Fantastic day to be lactose intolerant though. A lot of people enjoy shark fin soup, and maybe some don't realize what the fishermen do to get the fins. Look up video if you want, but they bring the shark on board, cut off all the fins, and chuck it back still alive to writhe and float and suffer. The crazy thing is that it offers zero nutritional value whatsoever. It's like a status thing. It offers zero nutritional value whatsoever. Even worse, is that it offers zero flavor on its own. The flavor of shark fin soup is from whatever else they add to it. Shark fin on its own is tasteless. That's fucked up. I discovered a video of poverty-stricken Filipino people making pogbog. It's so fucking sad, and they eat it regularly. Wow, that's really depressing. I hadn't heard of it before, so watched the video. Some URL. The guy harvesting reminds me of a guy I saw in a mall food court once. He went round picking up scraps of food from empty tables and put it in a carrier bag. This included burgers and chips, KFC etc., but also curries, noodles and all sorts of sloppy food. Once he had collected it, he sat at a table and ate it from the carrier bag. I don't think he was homeless. I've seen a guy do that straight up at a KFC, eating people's leftovers, skipped the bagging it part though. Also didn't look homeless. Scrapple. Made with everything but the oink according to my mum. I remember watching a YouTuber try Scrapple and literally every step she did was wrong and I got so pissed. Like she got some artisanal Scrapple that was more cornmeal than meat, then she just kinda gently sauteed it. Like slap that shit in flour and fry it up in oil as you're not eating Scrapple for your health. Pennsylvanians in shambles. /r/sheets versus /r/Wawa cult, civil war. In Poland we have a dish that's called flaki, which literally means guts. It's a soup made of cow stomach. Many people don't want to even think about it, but I think it's delicious. Oh, so a bit like menudo in Mexican cooking? Tripas, intestines washed and emptied, soup stock, herbs and spices and hominy. Really tasty, but the intestines part? Count me out. Tacos de tripitas. Oof, you making crave some tacos de tripa, a little salsa and onions. Yum. Or what about tacos de lengua? Squid in terms of how they're caught. How are they caught? Kinda like an inverse Iron Maiden. They get stuck to the spikes and as they thrash around to try and get free they get more stuck. Not very humane. Where are these squid getting caught? I've only seen net caged like any other fish. I live in Korea and they eat live octopus here. What makes this worse is there is increasing knowledge on the subject to say that octopus are capable of feeling despair after being injured. They have a mind similar to that of a dog. I thought octopus were more around the human toddler range of intelligence? We don't eat toddlers anymore so. Jonathan Swift has entered the chat. I was scared to click this post. Same, surprisingly just more of a list of unusual foods of processed things. Yes. I expected to see hot dog. Instead it's a list of foods I've mostly never heard of and would never eat. Reminds me of that video of Jamie Oliver showing kids how chicken nuggets were made and after showing them all the kids still wanted to eat them after. His reaction is priceless. Edit better link, some URL. Those kids taught him a valuable lesson. The lesson was stop using chili jam, Jamie Oliver. Hiya. I read that in Uncle Roger's voice too. I always remember the rat burger scene from Demolition Man. The man recognized that he thought it tasted great before he learned it was made from rat. Sometimes that's all that matters. Some URL. I once was at a conference in Japan. Me and some friends went into a small little restaurant for dinner. My French colleague insisted on ordering foie gras, besides other things. I knew the German name for this but not the French one, so I didn't know what he ordered there until I later called my boyfriend and he told me. In Germany you can't even produce foie gras due to obvious animal welfare problems with literally force-feeding geese into developing a fatty, sick liver just to eat it. Slurm. I could reach it if it weren't for these damned arms. Ain. Gnawing noises. Also poplars. Not that I would eat it anyways, but that goose/duck egg that is cooked with a live chick inside, obviously the chick dies. Ball it. Bless you. A local Asian grocer has a big sign next to the boiled eggs that says no refunds. I would be traumatized if I was the reason that sign was made. Veal is pretty fucked up. Yeah. I didn't think I had a food for this thread. But, yup. Veal. As a kid, my school bus passed a veal farm. Haven't touched it my entire adult life. I saw a veal farm at age 16 and have never touched it. Seeing those cute little calves chained to little igloo houses for their entire short lives really made me sad. Veal is also really a byproduct of the dairy industry too. As a young apprentice chef in Melbourne, Australia, I worked in a French restaurant. We had to make andouillette, which is a traditional French sausage. It's made of offal etc., and one component was the last meter of the pig's digestive system. So a tube with a little square of external flesh and an asshole in the middle of it. We had to check they were clean and rinse then again, etc. It was fucking gross. We used to watch customers eating them and shake out heads. My favorite memory is of a time when I slapped another apprentice around the head with a wet asshole on a string and it went in his mouth. Happy times. Nestle. r/fuck Nestle. Kopi Luwak or Weasel coffee. It is pretty much coffee. However, instead of using coffee beans that were harvested in more common ways, like hand-picking, Kopi Luwak uses coffee beans that were defecated by palm civets. Located in Indonesia, these weasel-like mammals consume coffee cherries as part of their diets and, through some very complex processes during digestion, they ferment the coffee cherries and thus defecate a coffee bean of peculiar flavors. Not only is this utterly terrifying, but unfortunately due to the demand and craze around it, producers are caging civets and force-feeding them countless amounts of cherries, basically ruining their diets and lives. I had it once, and after knowing how it was made I had to rush to the nearest restroom. It ruined coffee for me for a few years. Edit, holy cow. Thank you all for the comments. I'm learning so much from you.